Gary King. This is non-agenda.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to make a recommendation that they put all the public hearings and the public legal notices on the city webpage. Every published public notice or legal notice is published on the San Antonio news site, and you can search for it and look it right up. Some of us do not subscribe to the Express News, so we don't see those notices. The second is I want to give you an update on my open records request. I did receive part of the request. However, I'm still waiting for one invoice since March the 2nd, almost 5 months now. I'm wondering now if the city pays attorneys without an invoice. What's in the invoice that you don't want me to see? Next item is Mr. Busby, or Busby, whatever. He made a presentation back in October. At that time, most citizens welcomed the senior living campus. Only during the public hearing posted in May was the intent to offer a 15-year tax abatement disclosed. That's not being transparent. Now there are hundreds of citizens against this project. WED stated that they have been working with Springbrook since January. You don't want us to believe that the abatement topic was not discussed prior to May. The public notice posting on May 18th was not even included with the June 4th agenda, so the people at home had no way of seeing it. If you didn't catch it in the newspaper, you're out of luck. Seems there was a big rush to approve from EDC, get it to City Council on Friday, and then I imagine it would have been here tonight had it not got canceled on Friday. The Springbrook Senior Living Campus has another major problem. The public hearing notice stated the project would be funded by Springbrook Senior Development Group Windcrest LLC or an affiliated/related entity as a developer and operator. Who is this affiliated entity? We've had people involved in our city before. I won't mention their names, but some questionable developers, and I'd like to know who that is. We should not have open-ended statements in our public hearing notices. That tells me the Springbrook investors do not have their ducks in a line, or there's an alternative motive for inserting that into the public hearing notice.
Can I say something on that? First of all, on the for this project, the EDC is working extremely hard. They have not brought anything to the City Council. They are basically trying to work with the attorneys and the groups. So I'm not going to say anything ugly about the situation until we get their version of what's going on. And I think it's unfair to criticize before we hear both sides. Thank you.
Pam Dodson.
I'm really glad to see Quip Trip here. When I lived in Kansas City, I utilized your facility, so I'm glad you're coming to Windcrest. I would like some information about what is happening down at the RV park. The last time I checked for a slot, I was told that it would be close to a year before anything was possible, since the city is reducing the number of slots available to the residents. I have now heard from a friend that when they went to renew their contract, they were told they were losing their slot because the city needed that line of parking. In the past, the use of the RV park was an item that was openly discussed at council meetings. In fact, the first meeting I ever attended was for a Boy Scout badge for my boys, and the council chambers were packed with irritated residents, and the topic was RVs and the parking available to them. Now I understand that the city administration is making changes without any residents' input. Is this another one of those behind closed door actions we've witnessed just lately, where decisions have been made without council discussion and approval? Is this an attempt to run the city behind closed doors and then not have to deal with the questions of the residents? Here we go again. The same thing happened with the fire department and the creation of a bogus fire group trying to run the department. We all saw how well that worked and how the residents responded to the lack of information provided. I would like to see on the July agenda a discussion item about the proposed city manager changes to our RV park. I think that would also include any drawings or diagrams on how this will impact the availability of parking for RV owning residents. I also would suggest to the council that they encourage the WEDC to hold another public hearing if they continue to move forward with the Springbrook project. The meeting on June 4th was run more like a regular meeting with a presentation and citizens to be heard. And to make it appear even more like a regular meeting, the residents were only allowed to speak for 3 minutes. Also, there is confusion about which Springbrook is being spoken about in the discussion. We have 2 entities with that name, the Springbrook Investors and the Springbrook Senior Development Group, LLC. It was not carefully stated which entity was being referred to in the discussion. And we also do not know who comprises the group LLC, other than Mr. Busby. Also, there were incorrect figures given at the meeting, not by just a few dollars, but $1,000s, if not millions. And as far as the recording of the meeting, a lot of questions and answers were not recorded. Windcrest residents have the right to know exactly how the city sales tax is being used by the WEDC. So let's not rush through this process. I also encourage the council to hold some town hall meetings or public hearings to hear how the residents want their sales tax divided among the benefit groups, the WEDC, the WCCPD, the ad valorem offset, and the street and maintenance sales tax. I strongly suggest you try to hear the input of the residents prior to the time you make any decision to allow the WEDC to use any of those sales tax funds to develop or own any properties. And then, too, hear what the residents have to say before you vote to put our community into debt by using bonds instead of possibly using the city's sales tax. Thank you.
About an hour ago, I tried for 20 minutes to get to our website. I know it's been discussed here previously, and even a couple of years ago, I talked to Kelly Rodriguez about how difficult it is to access information on our website, to log in, to view things. In fact, while I was waiting the 20 minutes for the Windcrest website to load, I was able to go to the Live Oak website and view one of their previous council meetings, at least at the beginning of it. So I would ask, we haven't heard anything recently. It's been at least 6 months since it was most recently brought up about what our status is on improving the website. Both previous speakers mentioned comments about how inadequate the website is. And so I would think it's an important business decision by this board to make sure that we have a site that has access, that the citizens have access to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Arthur Brady.
Yes, good evening, folks. I was kind of curious about some of the Windcrest laws here. I was recently presented with a warning with the compliance code officer about a vehicle that was reported as a junk vehicle, but yet it is registered, it's insured, the vehicle runs, and yet I was still informed that I had 10 days to comply to remove my vehicle from my driveway, or basically it could lead into a further legal matter. I tried finding information online before this had even happened, and I can't find any information online. The code that it was listed for, under code 683072, everything that's listed under that code, my car is not. It's not a child endangerment. It's not on jacks. It's on all 4 wheels. It runs. I started it up for the officer. I have my insurance right here. I also have the plate right here where it's registered. Why does my vehicle have to be removed from my property or my in-laws' property when it's complying with state law? The other issue I wanted to ask is I've been trying now for over a year to work with my next door neighbor to help him, not help him, but to get his help, because the mutual fence that divides the property line has fallen down. He's not willing to do anything. I've offered to split it 50-50 with him. He's not willing. I'm needing to know where I can go to find out who's legally responsible, because the fence is falling down. It needs to be addressed and taken care of.
I guess I could refer you to, Chief Blue, can you get him in contact with the code person?
Yeah, the code person's here.
Okay. So you've had that conversation or not?
I've spoke to him briefly just a few minutes ago about it, and he said that he would go ahead and speak to her and address it, but I still wanted to address it because I'm new to Windcrest. I'm from Arizona.
Yeah. Sure, I understand. We can't have a dialogue, but we can refute refer you to the right person. So if you
Okay.
make sure you work with the chief, I'm sure.
And with the fence issue, who would I speak to? With
That may be a code issue too, I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Maggie, is it Hagan? Yes. Okay.
Good evening. I am soon to build here in Windcrest. I wanted to ask about the zero lot line rule. Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask about the zero lot line rule. I would like to stay away about 1.5 feet, maybe even 2, away from the zero lot line rule, and I wanted to know if I'm allowed to do that. I cannot find rules. I've been online on the website. I cannot find a yes or no on that, on the if I can or not do that. I had my builders contacting the city. Nobody can say nothing about it, if we can do that. They say we got to send the plans in, but I don't want them to do the plans unless they know that where to put the house on the survey or not. And so I guess I'm asking if we can do that or not.
Have you contacted our code people?
No, we don't know who that is.
Okay, we'll get you the information about who to contact for code.
Okay, okay then.
Mr. Castillo will do that for you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.